Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. Minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Thursday morning, September 11th, 2025. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. Everywhere else on the planet, you can hear my voice by going to our website, ksje.com. Ask your smart speaker to play KSJE, or maybe you're listening through the new KSJE app. Glad that you're all with us this morning. Also, welcome to our viewers who are with us watching this live program, streaming out to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So glad that you're with us as well, everybody, because coming up in the next few moments, we're getting an economic development update from my guest, Tim Gibbs, with Four Corners Economic Development. There's lots of things going on to share with you this morning, so stay tuned for that. It begins in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then later on this hour, we'll be talking with filmmaker Tom Shalaki. He is here getting ready to show his latest film, Acid Mine Nation. This is episode 7 now. This follows the Gold King mine spill in Colorado, which affected, of course, communities in Colorado and New Mexico and into the Navajo Nation in Arizona. Lots to talk about with Tom. He is having a screening next week here in Farmington to show his latest film, and so we'll be talking with him about that later on this hour right here on KSJE. Then, of course, Mick Hess is going to take over the studio. He will take us roving with the arts. That's our weekday classical music program. You will hear that beginning at 9:06 on KSJE this morning. Don't forget, tomorrow night, it is our Ballets with a Twist cocktail hour, the show. It's a special celebration of KSJE's 35th anniversary, and tickets are free to celebrate our 35th anniversary, so we hope you'll come and join us. You just have to go online and reserve your seat. The QR code is there on the screen, or just go to sanjuancollege.edu and check out events and go to Ballets with a Twist, tomorrow's performance, and pick your seats. They're filling up fast, we should tell you that, but we hope to see you tomorrow to help us celebrate 35 years of community-supported public radio from San Juan College, KSJE, tomorrow night. Also, the KSJE app, as I mentioned, now available to download from the App Store or Google Play. Just search for KSJE Radio. Stay connected when you're on the go as well. Outside our studios this morning at San Juan College, a cloudy morning, 62 degrees at the moment, and we are expecting another cloudy day today with a 70% chance of showers. Today's high, about 79 degrees. 50% chance of rain tonight with a low near 60. It's going to be rainy and cloudy again tomorrow, fall-like weather. 68 is about as warm as we'll get on Friday, 56 Friday night. Then partly sunny skies on Saturday with a high near 70. Overnight low near 49, 73 and sunshine on Sunday, back up to 78 on Monday, 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday, mid-70s for the later part of next week. And overnight lows getting cooler, as you can see, in the mid to upper 50s. I'll be back with my guest, Tim Gibbs from Four Corners Economic Development, right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care.
Celebrate KSJE's 35th anniversary on Friday, September 12th at San Juan College. Enjoy Ballets with a Twist, the show that mixes the glamour of Hollywood with the excitement of modern dance. Tickets are free to celebrate KSJE, but you need to reserve your seat. Go online at sanjuancollege.edu. The show starts at 7 p.m. on Friday, September 12th at the Henderson Performance Hall at San Juan College.
back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin Morning Program on KSJE.
My guest in studio this morning, Tim Gibbs, is back with me after a little summer break to talk about Four Corners economic development. Always great to have you here. Mr. Gibbs, welcome back to KSJE.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
You bet. Lots going on. You've got an event, in fact, this morning, right? As soon as you leave here, you're going to be in La Plata County.
Yep. La Plata Economic Development is having their economic summit today in Ignacio.
Okay.
And while certainly the focus is on their county, there's regional fingers off of it as well. You know, we're stronger together. If we do things right, it's 1 and 1 equal 3. They need us and we need them, and for us to learn a little bit more about the insight of what they see coming, where they are, and what they're doing, will help us to align to things we do as well.
Right. And so working with a group like that can, projects and things like that can make it maybe a bigger ask, I guess, or a bigger proposal if you're going after potential investments or what have you in the region, I guess?
It's across the board. If you look at the average house in Durango right now and the cost of it,
I can't look at that, but you can look at that.
It's a staggering number.
Sure.
It really is. It's $1 million.
Right.
I mean, and that's for 1,100, 1,200 square foot house. It just is.
Right.
And so, in a lot of ways, even companies that operate there have to be connected to us. To have a workforce or have a place for their people to live as well. But on the flip side of that, when we're talking to companies being in such close proximity to some of the attributes they have, that complements what we have as well.
Right.
So we're just stronger together. But and businesses think about the economy. They don't. Maybe they're certainly aware of lines, but that's not the deciding factor for them. It's whether they can be successful and what the entire community can offer them. So we're part of this entire community, and we try to be the good neighbors when we can, try to complement them when we can, but understanding where they are and where we are and alignment the best we can certainly will help all of us.
Sure. In the world of economic development, I know we've talked about that before, that there's a lot of things that I think maybe a company might look at when they're thinking about making an investment in a community, about quality of life and work-life balance these days and things like that. Yeah. Outdoor recreation has been a big driver, I think, here as well. And so is that some of the things, too, that you notice when you're talking to some of these folks about expanding or starting up a new company or whatever it might be, is where to locate and some of the other additional fringe benefits, as it were, of being in a certain geographic location of the country?
It is, and the benefits go both ways. We just had a report that Farmington, New Mexico was the fastest small to medium size market in the United States.
Fastest growing, I think, growing. Right?
Yes.
I meant to ask you about that. So
I should have had it down here.
Yeah.
And it was at 5.5% growth. That Farmington,
for businesses,
yes,
right?
Yes, for businesses were. And there's a lot of things that go into that. There's facts, lies, and statistics.
Sure.
That's a lot. And when you look at of the Pinion Hills expansion, you look at some of the different things, the large projects that's going on here.
Right. Big investments. Sure.
Yes, those certainly help with those numbers. But there is growth going on here, and that helps Durango, and that helps their airline, and that helps our airline, and that helps everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
So certainly quality of life are issues, and we have a great quality of life here as well. I mean, there's 57 parks in the city of Farmington. You look at Bloomfield and Aztec and some of the things that they're doing on outdoor recreation with the GPS guide to take you to all the arches, or you look at the North Main extension that they're doing in Aztec right now. There's certainly components for this region that's helping all of us grow. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the growth that is going on in this region, and that's part of it.
Right, definitely. You mentioned housing prices, so I just wanted to point out that I think it's interesting that, when folks look at the area and decide maybe to relocate here, whether they're working for a company or working from home or whatever, they can buy a $1 million house north of the border, and maybe it's so much square footage, or maybe they could spend half of that down here and get a much larger house or more property or more whatever. But it's always a compromise and a trade-off when you talk real estate, and so it adds to the choices, I guess, that people have, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and Forsyth right now is working on a housing study for San Juan County right now. And we hope it accomplishes several different things. We hope that it points out where we have strength, where we have weaknesses, and where there's opportunities for people to even build more houses, and more houses across the range, identifying what people make, what they can afford, what they're looking for, what the current housing stock is, and where we're deficient. But if we frame it in that way, we hope to be able to encourage some people to kind of come in and kind of create, fix the issues that aren't being addressed now, because there's niches in the market.
Like affordability, it sounds like you're talking about.
Affordability, some of it, but some of it is over 55. Some, I mean, there's
Right.
different. It's not just one thing.
I see. Sure.
But if you specify and break down the market of what people are actually looking for, and then apply it to what you've got, ideally it shows opportunity.
Right. Very true. Well,
Yeah.
interesting. And that's going on now, you said.
It is. It is. And in fact, we hope to have that in the next week or so. It's been
Okay.
There's been a lot of give and take back, but the consultant has been working on that, which is good because they need to have our voice. Because there's numbers, but then there's also the qualitative what people are looking for as well. And so we've been very, very active with our consultant to make sure we get a product that's just not a rehash of the numbers that you could get off Zillow or something like that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're trying to set the stage for growth. We're trying to set the stage for what someone can actually make money doing. And if they can break down the market to understand where the people are, what they're looking for, where we are, and where the deficiencies are, I think there are opportunities for people to even build specific things here, help the community, and also make money at the same time.
Right. That makes sense to me. And I guess it also would maybe talk about for a potential developer or contractor or whatever, that they would have a market if they were to make that investment here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things that go into it as well. Depending on which city you were in, they've got special zones where they can do certain things and incentivize certain things and help with the infrastructure cost. And there's some potential for there's some land here and there as well that's been identified that would be really, really good for different types of housing. So how these all fit together, and it really goes back to the core function of what this organization is about, and it's about bringing together business and industry, government, and the community to take advantage of opportunity, to know who we are, what we have, what our fortes would be, and how people can be successful right here.
True. Very true. I wanted to ask you about two companies that have done just that. It sounds like they have targeted this area to make an investment, and so that's jobs and opportunity. Talk to me about this news.
Well, the names aren't out yet. They haven't made their announcements, but there's been a couple companies that have purchased real estate here with the intent of putting facilities here. Now, these aren't recruitments that happen from Forset. Now we're meeting with them and we're trying to figure out how we can help them.
Sure.
You know,
because they made that initial decision to come here.
Yes. So there is some growth going on in these communities, and these are, probably 10 to 20 employee companies that start off. So they're not startups. These are existing companies that have chose to come here because they can be successful here, and there's opportunity represented here. And that's really, really good, because when business and industry is making pocketbook decisions to buy property in your region, to come and open new location in your region, that's a positive side. And we're going to help them any way we can, not just be successful now, but long term as well. And if we do our job, anyone coming in here, they don't have to know the acronyms. They don't have to know every single program that may be offered. We connect them with the college and the workforce training and the School of Energy and the different parts and pieces that can really make them be successful. That's us at our best, is taking the baton and taking the parts and pieces and applying and helping companies be successful long term.
Right, very true. And I know we can't talk about the specific companies, but these are in two different parts of the county, and so these investments are being made kind of spread throughout the county, basically.
They are,
right?
and people are making economic decisions that meet their needs and their opportunities, what they see going forward. But it's just nice, and what we wanted people to know is there's movement. There's positive movement going on here.
Right. Very true, which is important, I think. And a lot of folks maybe not hear that. They may see a place maybe closing down, but not a place opening up, I guess, which is a reason for celebration. And so we like to talk about that as well. You mentioned the airport, and so again, the flights that are back at the airport now, what are we now? Month number almost 5. From May, going pretty well. We hear from the airport manager, and so that's another economic driver to this area, right?
It's just huge. I think I believe I'm coming up on my 4th flight. So I'm almost averaging 1 flight a month.
Okay.
And I'm always looking there first.
Sure.
And I try, and I say to anyone that will listen to me as well, check the prices. And think about the prices cumulatively
Total
as
price.
well. Yeah, that's right.
Of your trip.
You know,
Yeah.
what's an hour of your time to drive? What's parking cost? What's the fact that you don't have to eat. You can eat at home or eat at your favorite restaurant or whatever it may be. And they really have been very, very competitive on price anyway.
Right.
Now, there's times that with 1 flight in, 1 flight out, it may not meet your schedule. I completely understand that. But I'm just grateful for the leadership and the outreach and what it has taken to get to that point for the city to have this flight guarantee program.
Right.
I have multiple times talked to clients about the connectivity that we now have out of Farmington. I have a recruitment coming in for a site visit the first week-ish of October, and they're flying into Farmington.
Right.
So they're not flying into another state, me explaining why we're picking them up at another airport.
Right.
They're not flying into Albuquerque and taking 2 hours and 20 minutes and sometimes limited cell phone coverage depending on your carrier and different things and just it just helps our case so much to expand and make a bigger piece of pie when we have that connectivity and what they're doing at the airport. It's a fabulous asset to have, and I really want to encourage both our people and our businesses to support it the best they can.
Right, I agree, because it's one of those use it or lose it types of scenarios, right?
It's just so competitive.
Right.
It's so competitive. There's not enough pilots out there right now. There's even scarcity of planes, certainly of the commuter planes that are out there right now. And there's only so many places that are going to be the feeder system into the hubs. The hubs aren't going away. They're there. But what feeds into them and how far you have to drive does change. So the more we support that and the higher load factors we have of the number of seats per plane that is filled will make a significant difference to our future when the next cycle comes around and we have to compete versus other places.
Right, very true. And I think it's a great thing for folks to think about. And again, as you say, price the whole trip and really take into account, some of those other travel times and gas and parking and things like that. Again, I don't know of any other airport that offers free parking. Ours does, and I don't know any other airport that is within, 10 minutes of downtown? I mean, you still have to get there early. I understand that,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty close.
I'm I'm 1.3 miles from the airport.
See.
So if I walk outside at around 6 a.m., I watch it take off.
Okay, yeah, right, exactly. And I think the on times have been pretty good. I don't think there's been any delays, significant delays that I'm aware of.
Well, and here's the thing that at least the good side of having an early morning flight and a later evening flight. The early morning flight, they overnight in Farmington.
The plane's already here.
The plane's here. The crews have spent the night here in Farmington. They're fresh. They're here. There's less chance for things to go wrong in the system because many, many times the problem isn't the plane from Farmington or wherever else. It's been that they had thunderstorms when you get delayed. They had thunderstorms where your plane's coming from.
Right.
And so the wrinkle thrown into the system they just can't overcome.
Sure.
At least with an overnight flight where they're spending the night and they're starting first thing in the morning, it helps. And even with the 8:30 flight back from Denver, if there is thunderstorms, and it just happens. If there is thunderstorms, many times they've calmed down enough and the system's had a little bit of time to recover to get you home rather than having that 5:45 flight or the 2:30 flight, which may be in the midst of the
storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And so that's important for connecting flights and things like that. And to know that when you take off at 6 a.m., you're going to make that connecting flight because the plane's already here and you're not really dependent on another market to get the plane to you.
And Denver's a good market as well because it is an international airport.
You can
get
one hop from a lot of places.
Yeah.
So that's very true. Very true. Tim Gibbs is my guest this morning. He, of course, is the CEO of Four Quarters Economic Development. There's a lot of projects that he is working on. Another one I wanted to ask you about is some of this broadband investment that you've been working on with partners in Southwest Colorado. That's a regional effort too, is it not?
It is, and it's hard to work broadband and not work regionally.
Sure.
Because broadband by its very nature is connectivity and connectivity to other places. And when you think about broadband, it's actually more of a radial type system. It's not from one direction to an endpoint. it's from a direction to a point to another point, for you can have connectivity both directions.
Right.
So if we're fed from Albuquerque, we also need to be fed from Colorado and have connectivity at Colorado. Colorado, and especially District 9, they're looking for increased redundancy in their internet, and we may offer even an additional way. Even there's lines that's running here, but if they had more lines and more capacity, they could have more redundancy and have better, not just quality, but just
Capacity, I guess, huh?
it would work more often.
I see.
It
Okay.
would have.
Well, and we're so dependent on connectivity now,
Yeah.
right? So anytime it goes down, that's a big deal.
It is, and it's just like it's like other pieces of infrastructure. You got to have it.
Sure.
You got to have it.
Well, and a lot of businesses and individuals are pretty dependent on it 24/7. And so if you don't have it, it impacts your business. It could impact your livelihood.
We've had 2 grants over the last 2 years that total $300,000 that's been focused on broadband. And we have brought partners to the table, one of which has now announced an expansion into the Farmington market, and there are signs all over the place. Because people now have broadband by definition, but they don't have the best version of broadband. And we don't pick winners and losers, but if you have broadband in your house, you probably have some type of fiber that leads into a cable, and then you have coax coming in at some point into your house, and that's your connectivity for broadband. Some of the new providers are actually bringing fiber all the way into your house and terminating it at your router.
Right.
So sometimes it can be a little cheaper, it can certainly be faster, and it can be more, it can stand the test of weather a little bit more, and rain and different types of things like that. So we've been very, very active in that for the last couple years. We have another company or two that's also looking about making substantial investments in this region, not just in one city, but in this region,
Right.
that would help as well, bring more level of competition. It could help on prices. It could help on even services they would provide. So we're really excited about what we have and what we potentially could have, and what it's going to do for the business community, for you can have point-to-point communications and not just send it out to World Wide Web and see where it goes and how it gets there.
Right.
And other services that could help our business community have a competitive advantages that other places don't have.
Sure, and that's important. And I think as the technology has improved and the internet we've become more dependent on it, I think folks have realized that, maybe the speeds aren't sufficient for their needs anymore, maybe from 5 years ago to today. And, as if I look around my house and I've got, I don't know how many devices connected to my home network, it's almost embarrassing, but we use it a lot for a lot of different things, and businesses are the same way. I would imagine that their connectivity has gone up over the past few years.
Well, we could show our age by talking about the first modem that we had, and the speed it would connect.
Sure.
And the fact that
you couldn't use the phone when I was
That's
younger.
right. You couldn't use the phone at all. So
Yeah.
it would tie up. And can you imagine even thinking in those ways? So
If I wanted to download a song, it would take all night, and then
Yeah.
I'd get one song by the next morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just think about where we are 5 years from now.
Right.
We're at the birth of AI,
Right.
and just this morning I was using AI. I was using AI this morning to think in the future about gas and oil, and in particular natural gas, about where it can go, how it can get there, what the markets would be, what the San Juan Basin of natural gas, what options do we have in the future.
Right.
I was using AI
Interesting.
for that, and
Okay.
I have a 9-page report talking about transportation costs, directions it could go, world marketplaces, price support, going through the Panama Canal. I'm going to the West Coast, the Alaskan hub exchange that they're looking to develop for LGN. All of these things, which will affect our businesses.
Sure.
So the application to make a tangible difference of what you can do with AI in a very, very quick fashion is incredible.
Right.
We use an AI subscription that's $200 a month. We're not using the free version. But our version, it doesn't give you an immediate answer when you ask a question. It thinks.
Right.
It may take 20 seconds for it to answer you.
But 20 seconds,
But
that's
the
still
level
quick.
of detail that it gives you, and it remembers. So I can go back and say, remember the conversation we had this morning? I had
What about
additional
this?
thought. What about this? Or remember the letter that we wrote? We need to do a follow-up now with these 3 main points based on the same.
Yeah.
It's just the application of AI, and all of that takes broadband. I mean,
Right.
it's so It's a computer revolution that's going on, and it's on the backbone of broadband and connectivity. So we've got work to do. We're working with our partners, all the municipalities, the county, certainly the Farmington and their electric that has a broadband fiber optic network.
Right.
But we're trying to show it to the world, show opportunities, bring in some additional investments, and bring new tools for people and businesses to help them compete, to break down any thought of isolation that we may have.
Sure, exactly. And again, you mentioned redundancy, which is another big important part, because again, if one line goes down, all that traffic would go to the other location or other direction, and if the more redundancy you have, the smoother that transition would be if something were to get interrupted.
Another example of why we're all connected as one, whether we're across the border in Colorado, here, or some of our other communities that connect us.
Very true. I wanted to ask you about the Edge Awards. They're coming up. Be here before we know it. November 13th
Yes.
is the Edge Awards. You very kindly asked me to help out again, which I'm glad to be a part of it, but it's an opportunity to honor a bunch of really innovative and interesting businesses, I think all sized businesses as well. And so what do we have to look forward to for the Edge Awards?
Well, the premise of it is, and we've talked so much about new things coming here, and that's important, a bigger piece of pie.
Yeah.
But we need to take care of and honor the ones that are here as well, that's already made the commitment, that have already hired people, pay taxes, make a difference, help communities, the community grow. And that's what this is about, is highlighting businesses, telling their story, letting them stand up and say, thank you, this is who we are, this is what makes us a little bit different, and we're proud to be a part of this community. And that night, for anyone that's not attended one of our banquets, first off, last year when you did a great job, we didn't keep you there all night.
No,
Some of them had been long before.
But you sure told me not to keep people there all night.
Yes,
That was
yes.
my marching orders, and that was fine. You bet.
We wanted to give voice to business and industry. We wanted to highlight some business and industry of the region. We wanted to show people that we've got some great innovative things going on here and some things that's worth honoring.
Right.
And that's what that does in spades. But it does it in a way that we hear their voice. We have a great meal. There's some camaraderie there with it. And then you're going to get home. Then you're going to get home and say, wow, that was a good event. I want to go back next year. So be watching for that. And we'd encourage people to come out and be a part of it, just because when you leave there, you feel good about your community and where it's going and how it's going to get there.
Sure, very true. And whenever I'm involved, I'm always learning about a new business that I hadn't heard about or didn't know about, a new service, a new something that someone had thought of and is in business. And the stories are always really encouraging and uplifting, I think, and to kind of hear how these businesses have grown over time, too.
Well, and one of the things that you did and you brought to the table and the station did is you gave the opportunity for the winners to come on the radio.
Right.
Come and tell their story in an extended way.
Right.
More than the 3 to 5 or whatever they happen to use.
Right.
To come and say, hey, this is who we are. This is how we got started. This is what we do, and this is how we can help people. So I want to say thank you.
Sure.
Because that's a great kudos, and it's another thing they get, other than the recognition of the day, but they also get the audience of the community.
True, and we're happy to do it because that's what we do too, is to try to celebrate these local businesses and inform the community of what they are doing and what they're bringing to the community. So It's a great partnership. We appreciate that too. Just a few minutes remaining this morning, Tim Gibbs, and so looking ahead, what's happening? What's going to be? What are your goals for the rest of this year and maybe looking ahead at next year?
Well, I will be coming up on an anniversary in February. It'll be 2 years.
Okay.
Which is great. I'm no longer, I don't even have to use
Who's
that
counting,
new,
really?
yeah, who's no longer that new guy.
Right.
We've done a lot of things to put San Juan County, the city of Farmington, or other municipalities on the map, for people to know who we are, what we have to offer, and to try to make it as easy as possible for them to consider us for a location or an expansion.
Right.
We've also went out to our existing businesses. Just in the last 9 months, we've had 60 business meetings. We've been sat down with them, asking them a lot of things, but in general, what keeps you up at night and what opportunities are out there to grab, and how can we help you do those things?
Right.
So retention of what we have and expansion, but the expansion piece is for too long people just didn't know we were here. We weren't in the game. We weren't competing. We didn't have a competitive analysis. So we're doing the work on our workforce, on our housing, on our sites, on developing new sites, developing new ways to reach out and touch the decision makers, the site consultants, and the people driving projects. And we're starting to have the inflow of opportunity. It's like going to bat. You got to, if you're going to bat for average, you got to get to the plate.
Right.
And so companies are coming to come here to look at us for the opportunity that we represent. So a lot of it's been blocking and tackling and getting to this point, but we're starting to see results. Now we're thinking about how do you manage your leads? How do you make certain that nothing gets dropped off and that things are done in the right way, that you can provide the services on a professional level to land and get to where you want to be. So lots of things are going on right now, and we're seeing the benefit of the work that we put in and the money that we spent and the support we've had from our partners to get to that point. And so many times what we do at best is blend our efforts with others, with what the city's doing on their parks and what the county's doing on the rail development. That's an incredible component, that rail development, of what it could be. In the last year, of the RFIs, PROs, that it's basically a sample of a way to say the projects that we were competed with the state for. A third of them mentioned rail access.
So you can't even apply because you're already out of the, you don't meet the qualifications, I guess, for that site that they're looking for.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have work to do. We have work to do to support the county in their efforts of what they're trying to do for rail. We have work to do to help the city of Farmington in particular about what they're doing at the airport and the development of a new industrial park up there as well. We have work to do to help Aztec on their North Main extension, and every other, for Kirtland, they have great behind-the-meter opportunities for data centers. The connectivity of the grid where that power plant was, you still have the substation there, you have a lot of natural gas there. They have a forte for a certain type of development right now.
Right.
Bloomfield has so much of the industrial base now in San Juan County is there. So each place is poised for a partnership, for an organization to carry the flag, carry the spear, to recruit, support businesses, and do the work for we can compete.
Nice. And you feel, and I think demonstrate, that when you have that opportunity, that your elevator speech is right there where it needs to be, that you're ready to pitch this community and all the opportunities if they will give us a look.
You can always be better. You can always be better. But if you can make a connection, you can show them the fabric of the opportunity of the community has to offer, if you can make it easy for them, where they feel comfortable knowing that there's no surprises and you're not just recruiting them, you're going to be there for the long haul, just like we are here for our existing businesses, you can have success.
Right.
I've got a great board. I've got a great chairperson. Vince Moffitt owns and runs the largest private business
in the county. Yeah.
And Vince, we're not going to miss an opportunity because what he brings to the table, that's for certain.
No, that's true. So, good to know. Good to know. Lots of good work. Tim Gibbs, thanks for coming in, sharing it with me this morning. Appreciate it.
It's been a long time.
Right.
But every time I get to sit down and share what we got going on and who we are, it's a pleasure.
It's always great to catch up with you. So we'll see you again next month, hopefully. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tim Gibbs from Four Corners Economic Development, my guest right here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.